would just bust out crying, and then I hug him, and then I said, well, I love you. And he was like, oh, I love you too. And it was so wonderful. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, well, welcome. My name is Emily. I am a full-time mom and student currently living in Houston, Texas. It's been a hectic last couple months for us as a family. We have a lot of things going on, and I didn't have time to film and post videos for you guys, but today I'm so happy I finally have that time. So the topic today is that I want to so as you guys know, I have always been doing mom, like I film several videos about regarding our son, how his school life's being. It's actually been pretty good. But today I want to switch gears a little bit and we're talking about relationship. So as you guys know, Lauren and I, that's my fiance, we have been together for a little while, and now that we're engaged and talked about marriage, I just want to, share a little bit of our story of how we met, and basically when did I know that he's the one. So if you guys are interested, and without further ado, let's get into it. So first of all, Lauren and I, we met through Bumble. And if you guys are not familiar with Bumble, it's a dating platform, kind of similar to Tinder, but it's different in the fact that I think the owner, she's very pro-feminist. Basically, when you match on Bumble, the girls have 24 hours to actually start a conversation first. And also the guys have 24 hours to reply in order to make the conversation valid. But if you match and then the girls didn't start any conversation at all, I think after 24 hours, your match will also be invalid. So that's just a background of where we met. So basically nowadays a lot of people met online because I think it's more convenient, and because I understand some people they can't find people at their workplace, at their schools or so, and it's sometimes kind of awkward to just meet in person or like just start conversations in person. So I think when we meet on a certain platform, it's gonna be easier for some people that introvert to easily start conversation with a stranger and get to know them before we actually go out and meet them. So I think it's a very good idea that's for, whoever that meet their significant others online. Okay, that's where we met. Now get into the story of how we met. So Lawrence was the one that actually swiped right on me first. And by the way, I'm thankful that he did. But when I stumbled upon his profile, well, don't get me wrong, he was very good looking at the time. Like his profile pictures and all the pictures that after that, and like his informations, education, career, everything, heights and stuff, it's perfect. And but the only things that kind of set me back a little bit was his age. He was actually 2 years younger than I am. So basically that is already put like a barrier between our two culture, because we prefer, in our culture, we prefer the male partner to be older than us. I know it is not applicable everywhere, but it just how it usually is. So I was kind of hesitant a little bit, like to swipe right. But then at the time, I was bored. I wasn't thinking about getting like serious. So I'm like, you know what, let's just swipe right and see what happened. I mean, sometimes you just start conversations and it might not go anywhere. You don't know that. So disregard his age and I just swipe right. And by the time I swipe right, it's actually boom, congratulations, your match. And now I have to think about like how I should start a catchy, introductions, to start the conversation with. And that's the hard part. I still remember exactly what I said to him the very first time we start the conversations. I said, "Hello there, you legal drug dealer." Fun fact, he is a pharmacist. So basically he is a legal drug dealer. So I think it was fun. And he replied. I actually surprised that he replied. And we started talking. It was very pleasant. And we exchanged numbers, we talked, and we also FaceTime. We didn't really talk about meeting each other like in person anytime soon, because at the time he told me that he was still busy with his board exam and other exam after pharmacy school. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I can wait. I can wait for a couple weeks once he's done. Like, it's not in a rush. We can still FaceTime and text. And I think it's very great that he ended up meeting me a little bit sooner. After a week of constant texting and FaceTiming, we decided to just meet up earlier, just because I guess there was a lot of attractions and chemistry there, and we couldn't wait. We couldn't wait for a couple weeks for him to be done. But we agreed with each other that, the meeting is going to be brief, and, he has to focus on his exams and his stuff first, and I totally agree with it. So we agreed to meet about a little more than a week after we officially matched on Bumble. And then I'll tell you how it goes. Fast forward to the day that we obviously met each other in person. I remember I was so nervous. I couldn't sleep the night before. And since we met on a Saturday, but unfortunately on that Saturday I was still working, and I remember I didn't get off until 4, and our meeting time is like 6 or 6:30. So I honestly just barely have time to get home, rinse off really quickly, and put on clothes. Like, I didn't even have time to put on my makeup, trying to impress my date. And I didn't have a chance to do that. So I just gone with bare face and a little bit of lipstick, and hope for the best. So at the time of our first meeting, we actually live across town. And by across town, I mean an hour away. Yep, an hour away. So I remember we talked about meeting halfway, but unfortunately, since he was still dog sitting, he's not supposed to leave the dog alone for a long period of time or so. So, I make a deal that, hey, I'm gonna drive across town to see you. It's nothing wrong. I'm willing to drive. I don't mind driving. So we met at the house that he was dog sitting. After I arrived, I kind of text him and tell him that, hey, I'm here, could you please come outside to see if, I'm at the right house, because I couldn't see the number. I just want to make sure that I park on the right parking. And yeah, he came out wearing a very bright orange shirt. You can't miss him. So I saw him. He waved me so I can park on the driveway. And when I get off the car, the first thing I noticed wasn't his look, but his height. I'm telling you, he was a giant baby. He was a big baby. I did not realize Like, I've never seen anyone that tall in my life. So I'm like, well, hello there. Well, how's the weather up there? You know? I was so awkward because I didn't wear heel. I don't wear heels off. Like, honestly, I don't wear heels at all. And I wear flats everywhere I go. So when I stand on flat, I literally about his chest height. Yeah, around his chest. So after the encounter, we kind of proceed into the house so he can situate the dog and, you know, grab a couple of things before we left. So we left the house, and at the time we took my car. I remember he was telling me that, you know, he was a broke student driving a 2001 Buick LeSabre. It's a very old and beat up car, and he understands that some girls, you know, kind of embarrassed if we take that car out on a first date. But honestly, at the time I didn't care. For me, it's just material. But we end up taking my car because at the time, my car was low on gas, and I planned to take my car because, you know, we can just stop by gas stations and I can pump my car. So by the time I leave and get back home, it might be late. I don't have to stop at the gas station so late. It's just not, you know, safe. So we end up taking my car. We went to the Yard House. It's a American restaurant, very nice, very good food, close to the house. And I tell you, the food was good, but we have so much fun, and we focused on our conversations a lot. I don't think we finished the meal, but honestly, I did not really enjoy the dishes. I actually enjoy our conversations better. So after dinner, we left the place, and we trying to head home to spend some more time together before I have to leave. And on the way home, we're driving past gas stations, and I mean, we were so like into talking and spend some time together. So I didn't really notice that my gas tank is running really low. Like I have to get it now because honestly, Lauren told me that I just rather get the gas now. Don't wait until it's too late. He doesn't feel safe for me to pump gas at like late at night. It's not safe for ladies to do that. So we stop at the gas stations, and here is something that it's kind of part of the reason why I know that he is the one. When people ask me when did I know Lawrence was the one, it actually took me 4 months. Honestly, it could have been less than that, but I'll get into that later. So as I told you guys, after our date, we went back to the house that he was dog sitting. We were trying to get some more time together before I had to leave. But at the time, my car was running really, really low on gas. And so I said, you know what, just stop by some gas stations and just get it over with. And I remember when we parked, he told me that, you know, I was a student, like a new graduate. I don't have a lot of money. I still live monthly, you know, on loans and grants, and I have to house sitting and dog sittings for extra monies. I don't have a lot to offer right now financially, but how about I get you half of the tank of gas, and if we will still be together when I start working, then I'm gonna get you the full tank of gas by then. Like I promise you that I will get it for you. It was very awkward, for me to just sit there and let the guys pay for my gas. And I mean, he already paid for my dinner. I mean, I feel really, really unfair for him having to pay for my gas or like any of my personal stuff. I don't feel comfortable, but he refused to let me pay. So I just kind of tell him, you know what, I'm really grateful that you're doing this for me. If we go out next time, it's gonna be on me, because I mean, I feel bad. But you know what, he's like, yeah, no, it's okay, I got you, you know, like that's fine. You know, to some people, half of the tank of gas is not a big deal, but for someone just fresh out of school like him, it's a very big deal. He didn't have a lot, you know, financially to begin with, and he still offered me with what he had, and to me it's a big deal. To me, it's speak volumes about his characters and personality. Another thing about Lauren that's kind of adds up to my realizations of him being the one was that he was very straightforward. He's the kind of man that knows what he wants and go after it. When I told you when we first start talking, distance is one of our biggest issues at the time. Like, we live across town, an hour away from each other, and I mean, to some people it's kind of a barrier or something. Like, some people doesn't like driving, they like to meet someone, you know, within a certain radius of where they live. So we talked about it, and he straight up told me that, hey, you live in North Houston, I live all the way in Manville, we're like an hour and some change away from each other. So I'm open to travel, but if you're not open to travel, we can just terminate the conversations right now and let's not waste each other time. I'm like, dang, that's straight up. But that's what I like about it. I think, you know, I've met a lot of men in my life. Like, you know, sometimes they just don't know what they want and they kind of lead the girls on. I mean, intentionally or unintentionally, I think it's very, very bad. But for Lawrence, he's very straight up. He's told me, we live an hour away. If you're not open to travel, we can just stop it right now. And it's kind of give me a very good impressions about this guy. Like, he's straight up with me. He was being honest. That's a very good quality. I think that is the first quality that I want in a man, that I eventually want a long-term and a serious relationship with. Before I met Lauren, I had a child from my previous relationship, and since then, you know, dating for me, it's very tough, very tricky. At the time, I don't have a lot of standards. I have really low self-esteem, just because I was thinking that, you know, there's no one would want a girl that have like that's come with a package, like come with a whole bunch of responsibility. And especially with Lauren, he's a handsome single guy. You know, he can have all the girls out there that he wanted. Like, he has a good career, you know, all that's qualities add up. I mean, he can literally score any girls that he wanted. So I was very, you know, I kept to myself. I was very nervous when we finally sit down and have like a serious talk, you know, conversation. Remember, I told you guys that Lawrence is very straightforward. I think that is the quality that I think I like best about him, and it's really add up to the realizations of me knowing he was the one. As I mentioned before, Lauren is the type of guy that if he likes something, he's gonna go after it. He's very, very determined. And once he realizes what he wants, he will do anything in his power to make it happen. And I think that is the best quality ever a man can possess. The reason why I said that was because I've been on dates before, and sometimes the guy just kind of leads you on, and you know, kind of, you know, they said you know, just go ahead and try to see how it goes. And at the time, I was like, okay, it's kind of fun, let's see how it goes. But no, I'm at the point where I don't want to waste time. I don't have time to waste, to be honest. And I want to look for a serious long-term relationship to settle with. So I want to have a man who knows what he wants. And Lauren is it. Lauren is the one. With that being said, I was very nervous when we first had our heart-to-heart conversations about where this relationship, or should I say potential relationship, is going. We literally talked for 2 hours. I'm not kidding. We talked for 2 hours. I told him about my situation. I had a child with a previous relationship. I was still going to school to find myself a different career because I could no longer fix cars. And you know, my financial, it wasn't the best either. So there's a lot of something wrong with me at the time. I don't have a lot of qualities to offer. He was way more successful at his age than I was at my age at the time. And I feel a little bit less than and ashamed, you know, embarrassed to having to talk with him about this. But I also be honest that I would want to have a long-term, you know, serious relationship to settle with. I don't want to just date to, you know, find out how it goes. I honestly want something serious that could lead to marriage and life together. I don't just want something temporary. I don't have time to waste, and I honestly don't want to waste his time. So if he feel like it was a lot for him to handle, you know, with me, with my son, then he can just walk out right now. I know, I understand. We had a lot of chemistry and affection towards one another, but relationship, it took more than just chemistry. It took understanding, it took forgiveness, it took a lot of things, you know, benevolence towards one another. So I kind of give him a minute to think, and I was so afraid that he would back out of this potential relationship because he's single and he has a career. I mean, not all guys wants to be stuck with someone that have too much of a chaos in life going on, like my life at the time. So I was so afraid he's gonna say no. But the next thing he said to me, it's kind of boom, wow. He told me no. At first, I was thinking, like, no what? Like, no as in, yeah, I will walk out of a relationship, or no, like, I will think about it. Or like, I need some more time to think about it. So he's like, no, I want to pursue you. I want to get to know you and pursue you and make you my girlfriend. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? What did you say? And he had to repeat himself. It was a moment where I can just, bust out and said, I love you, but I kept my dignity, and I didn't. Actually, I was joking. I just said, I love you right then and there. I wasn't thinking much. I was so happy. I bust out crying, and actually I'm still crying it now. But yeah, I would just bust out crying, and then I hug him, and then I said, well, I love you. And he was like, oh, I love you too. And it was so wonderful. And till this day, I didn't regret. I didn't regret that I said I love him first. Usually, ladies should do that, but I just did. So what? We're about to get married, so what? After that time, we were dating, courting, and he finally took his test, and unfortunately, he did not pass his state exams or so. He did not pass the first time, and he was so nervous that I was going to leave him. He was so devastated, and he kept telling me that, please don't leave me, or please don't, leave our relationship. I'll try better. I'll talk to my hospital and see if they can extend my start date. So he was supposed to start somewhere in November, but fortunately the hospital was kind enough to extend his start time until January. When I said it took me 4 months to realize he was the one, I actually lied. It did not take me that long. It's literally just took me about a couple weeks when we start that heart-to-heart conversations, and I knew that he was gonna pursue me no matter what, regardless of my problems, my situation. He saw values and qualities in me that I couldn't see in myself for a long time, and he saw that. He chose to keep seeing me and pursue me and make me his girlfriend and be in a serious long-term relationship with me. So I guess I knew then, but it's just a little detail that I think I would like to share, was that when he started at his job and he got paid like a week after, at that time he didn't work night shift yet. He worked 5 days out of the week because he was still training. So we usually had the weekends together. So after he got his first paycheck, he came to my house, and I think at the time my car was also low on gas. I don't know, it's just a coincidence. My car was also low on gas, and we happened to take out cars to run errands or something, and we stopped by a gas station to get gas. And I gave him my card, and he was telling me that, remember that when I told you at the first gas station we ever been that if you stayed with me, if I got my first paycheck, I'm gonna give you a full tank of gas. And he did. It spoke volume of him just to keep his promise. He actually held himself responsible and accountable to whatever he said. He's told me he's gonna get me a full tank of gas. When he got his first paycheck, he did. He didn't lie to me. Although it could be an easy white lie. I didn't really thought about it that much. when he said that to me the first time we met, I was just thinking that, oh, you know what, that's fine. I mean, I can just pay him, you know, pay for our meals next time we go out together. I wasn't realize that he actually kept his promise. And to me, it is the last quality that I have found, you know, in a man. Lauren is truly a God-fearing man. But I will save that for another episode when we talk about God in our relationship. But for now, I'll keep it short and sweet about the story of how we met and when I knew that he was the one.